Okay, so this story I've actually waited a long time to start telling because I wanted to take a couple different days to write down what I remembered, the key moments. I want to make sure I didn't forget anything pivotal because a lot happened, a lot of it pissed me off, and this is about the My Little Pony campaign that I was in. Uh, my friend Sean, who is basically my DM, and one of my good friends. He loves to DM. He really absolutely does. And so he runs a lot of campaigns, and him and me, he got me into the whole brony thing. And I really can't argue. The show is good. If you don't like it, then I don't know what's wrong with you. But it's a good show. And so we were like, we want to do something with this. So after like a month or two, he, put together a campaign. We all made our ponies. I think all but one were part of the main six. If you don't know who that is, they're the main six character ponies. Applejack, Pinkie Pie, Twilight Sparkle, Rarity, Rainbow Dash, and Fluttershy. The one outlier was playing a character named Lyra, who is an actual pony from the show, but it's not one of the main six. It's background pony. So we made the characters, and I don't know about anyone else. I made mine. I played Applejack. There's a couple Applejacks back there, who is my favorite pony, and I made her as true to form as I could, and basically made more of a character, like an RP character. I didn't knock out anything of her, actual fighting abilities, but I made it so she would be this, and it would match her. And we didn't know what we were getting into. There was no lead up. None. We just knew that this was when the campaign was going to start, and it was going to be thrown in front of us. And when it starts, he hands us this piece of paper that he made and just, said, like Equestria Times, or it didn't say Equestria Daily, but it was close. And it was just like this fake little newspaper clip out, had like little articles, just pictures around, but the main one to focus on was that, that there were missing ponies, and that a festival was going to be starting. Okay. And our characters are going to this festival. So we get there, and, pretty soon afterwards, we see someone, or as Twilight, go around this corner. And we all go to investigate. I think Twilight said she saw someone. So Twilight books around the corner. We follow soon after. And I think we see her run into this red mist. And all of us kind of look around like, we don't want any of that. Like, we all immediately try and back out and just run for it. There's another thing, red mist behind us, of course. It's like, so, into the red mist. And we're in the Ravenloft campaign. If you don't know what the Ravenloft campaign is, good. Fucking, oh my, even if you knew what you were getting into ahead of time, even if you built a character specifically around this campaign and defeating this campaign, good luck. Good luck trying to get through this campaign. Oh my god. Ravenloft is set in like a dark, mostly undead realm. Not a lot, and about half, maybe a little more than half. Whatever, I'm ahead of myself. Okay. So we get in there, and Sean has seen our characters ahead of time. None of us made paladins. None of us made priests. We all made our individual ponies to be like the ponies. So we're wandering around, and so, I made Applejack into a monk. I thought that'd be the most appropriate for Applejack. So a monk walks into an undead game. We go into downtown, and there's like zombies or ghouls, or fuck, I can't remember what we ran into. They were undead. They're basically just ghouls. And then in the center, we see the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Oh boy. Mind you, this is when we did not like the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Before Season 2, Cutie Mark Crusaders, who are these three little fillies that are pains in the ass most of the time. Until Season 2, there weren't many redeeming qualities to them for a while. Season 2 hit, though. They got a lot more redemption. Well... Okay, sans Scootaloo. No one really cares about Scootaloo still. But we see them in this town square, and we immediately rush in to try and help them, and we're trying to fight back these zombies, and none of us are really doing damage, except maybe one, the mage, I think. We have a mage, who's Lyra. We have me, who's a monk, who I'm hitting them, but they all have reduced damage, so I'm not really doing much of anything. We have Pinkie Pie, who's a bard, who is actually one of the better characters in the campaign. We had... Didn't have her. And had Rainbow Dash, who was, thief, assassin, stabby stab. So, walk into town. See all this, we're trying our best. We're not really doing that well. Then the Cutie Mark Crusaders pull out swords. Holy paladin swords. Because apparently Sean thought it best to have them going after their paladin cutie mark. So we kill about a third of the undead. The Crusaders kill the rest. Okay, so during this fight, one of the Cutie Mark Crusaders drops. And we're like, damn. Well, we go to the shopkeep, who is in all of Sean's campaigns. An original character called Wacky Wizzo, who is this fourth wall breaking shopkeep who sells anything and everything, whatever Sean basically feels like at the time. This guy carries, and of course, his assistant, Derpy Hooves. So we're either dealing with Wacky Wizzo or Derpy. And he says, well, I can sell you the regents to reincarnate this character. Well, who here can reincarnate? Enter Fluttershy, who he is made into a druid. So Fluttershy says, I can resurrect him. Okay. Well, reincarnate. So he's like, well, what do we need to do to get these items so we can reincarnate? Well, there's this guy at this church, and he's... I really don't trust what he's doing. Just go deal with him. Come back. Just do this job for me. Okay. So, we go to this church. All run down, holes in the ceiling, all this. We're like, well, let's scout it out first. The obvious thing. Okay, Rainbow Dash, you're our flyer. Go fly up there. Excuse me. Go fly up there, look inside, see what you can do, and report to us. Okay. So Rainbow Dash flies up there. And just immediately dive bombs the guy. Who's just at this altar. At which point we're like, damn it, so we run in. Giant hole in the center, guys up here at the altar, and he pulls out this scroll and uses it to try and cast a spell, Rainbow Dash, and it misses. Like, okay, good, yeah, that's good. We're fighting, we're fighting these ghouls that start coming up. Rainbow Dash attacks, crit, massive damage to the guy. The guy's basically destroyed in one hit. But apparently, according to our wonderful DM, he has enough strength to pull out a scroll and try and cast a spell he can at Rainbow Dash. And it's a death spell. First encounter, there are death spells. Kills Rainbow Dash. So, the 3 actual players, the 3 Cutie Mark Crusaders, and Fluttershy, who's being controlled by our DM, now have to take on this hulking, massive zombie thing and a few ghouls. And somehow we kill it. I keep just beating it up to, like, no damage, basically. I'm already feeling kind of worthless. So, we get everyone, we kill everything, we do the job, we go back to Wacky Wizards. We're like, we did your job. Our friend died doing your job. Can you give us 2 groups of it? And he's like, I'll cut you a break. Okay, sure. So, Fluttershy uses the reincarnation on, I think it was Scootaloo that died. I don't really care. Scootaloo comes back, and he had his own system, because if you're reincarnated, there's no choice in it. You roll the die, and whatever the percentile die comes up as, you know, a percentile and another D10, and there's a chart that shows what you come back as. But seeing as how you really can't come back as, like, most of the characters, he had, you know, Earth Pony, Unicorn, Pegasus, what is it called? The Unicorn Pegasus combination. I can't remember that one. And he also had human on there, just for kicks. You know, you could be a human. You don't know what it is, but you see undead of it walking around. So Scootaloo comes back. Scootaloo's fine. I think it's, you know, it's back to being a Pegasus. It rolled. Rainbow Dash gets reincarnated as an Earth Pony. So Rainbow Dash's big thing of flying is gone. And mind you, all the pony forms have different stats equated to them. So her stats are all fucked up now. Another thing about Ravenloft is the Dark Master of the area you can be tempted to evil, and it takes a while to corrupt you. But there needs to be like a point that just clicks. And Rainbow Dash, who's all losing her wings, is walking through downtown. And there's Bon Bon. Bon Bon is best friends with Lyra. She sees Bon Bon, and voices in her head tell her, if you kill Bon Bon and eat her heart, then your flight will be restored. Jess, who played Rainbow Dash, had no quarrels running up to Bon Bon, killing her, eating her heart and wings. So we're like, really? No. Really? Really? Neat. Okay. And that started a whole other social meme with Jess and what she does in her free time. But, so, now, whenever there's an opportunity in the game that a corpse is in front of her with a heart still in it, she has to make a roll to save against diving in and eating the heart. And I believe as once she got to 10 hearts, you know, something really bad would happen. Until then, she got, like, dark bonuses, but nothing worth eating hearts to, you know, come up to bad thing. So, we, that same night, we discover that Rarity had also been here. She had gone in after Twilight, but before us, and there's this large time difference, kind of like digital world time difference. Points, if you get what I mean. So every, like, minute in the real world is maybe, like, a week in Ravenloft. So she's been there for a long time. So we find Rarity. She has this chateau, and she seems fine aside from these 2 little holes in her neck. Fuck. So we stick with Rarity. we kind of call that, home base. And the next day, there's a newspaper that shows a picture of Rarity saying that she's to be courted by, the big baddie. And that she's going to be the new queen. At which point she's like, ah! We're like, ah, you dumb bitch. And so we start asking around for what to do and who's there. And Rarity mentions a few things. Where the big baddie is, the town, the different locations around this area. And also that Twilight is working for the big baddie as well. Apparently she was tempted by the dark side and is now one of our foes. Great. Bringer of ultimate magic destruction, we get to fight. Great. Okay, thanks for that. So we head back into town, planning to try and find, I think it was the hilt of a sword in a dungeon. We find Derpy, so we have to deal with Derpy at the store. And, we're doing stuff around town as well, talking to the shop, keep talking to the, the bar, whatever. People are just looking at us like, more ponies. You. And we get up to a intersection where we find this really, armored up looking guy finding some ghouls. So we go and beat them up and we talk to him, and he gives us like, kind of a general idea of what we're supposed to be eventually doing. And then we're just talking with him, and one of us mentions, our friend Rarity here at the house, blah blah blah. It's like, the queen is mentioned in the paper? Yes, yeah. And where is she? She's back at that house. And we'd left the Cutie Mark Crusaders there. She's back at the house. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Wonder. We go into the dungeon, we kill more undead very, very slowly. And to find this hilt. Meanwhile, and after that battle's done, he shifts to the mansion. And he basically shows us what happens at the mansion, which is, and he's doing rolls for it too. The Cutie Mark Crusaders end up killing this guy because he declares bloody murder on Rarity. So after we told him about her, he apparently decided, I'm gonna go kill her. Splat. And of course, looting, body, nothing great, nothing any of us can use. But now we have an actual plan. Through all this and mysticism and symbols, we find there are 3 areas that we need to, I guess, meditate on to charge up this sword. I'm really struggling. I know it's 3 points that we needed to meditate on. And first was in the forest. So, okay, we head in the forest, Cutie Mark Crusaders, Fluttershy with a whole bunch of reincarnation regents. And oh my god, did we just run through those like candy? All of the dying of everybody. Everybody died. A lot. So the first group of enemies we come to are a bunch of wargs, which are basically like demon wolves, essentially. And the Pinkie Pie, our bard, starts off with trying to not negotiate. That's not the right word. Trying to influence them to work for us. To come join us. Like, we're all 4-legged here. We're all, friends. And of course, our demon's like, okay. She makes a roll. She crits a roll. So at the very least, they're gonna be like bluffed for a second. Like, all the wargs make their checks still. Still make their checks. He's not gonna hand us over a free battle because of, you know, one crit. But, you know, they're gonna be stalled a bit. One of the wargs crit fails. So now this one warg at the back's going, you know, she's got a point. I mean, I got 4 paws, and they've got 4 hooves. Maybe I should. Maybe we can all be friends. And as this warg is contemplating the back, we're attacking the rest of his friends, which is RP'd as part of it, like, Steve, they're kicking your asses. What are you doing? We could be peaceful wargs. Steve, we're dying. We're dying. But are we killing ourselves? So we blast through all these wargs. There's still this one warg just there. Like, there's all of you, one of me. Yeah. I think I'll join you guys. Okay. So now we got this warg named Steve. 4 actual players, 3 Cutie Mark Crusaders, 1 Fluttershy, and a Steve. Okay. We continue to plow through the dungeon. Or, I'm sorry, not the forest, dungeon, whatever. Killing things, dying. Killing things, dying. That's really what it is. Everything I punch, aside from the wargs, has damage reduction. And I can't do damage. And even the ethereal creatures, I have ki, so I can punch them, but still do no damage. Dad had self-injury. Oh no, you can hit him. Oh, I can? Yeah, you're not gonna do anything. Oh. So we get to the end of this forest. There's a nymph who's like all fucked up. Kill everything inside it. Someone, of course, dies, reincarnated, and people are coming back as unicorns and Pegasi and earth ponies and other such. Alicorn, that's what it was, alicorns. And the nymph's like, yes, there's those 3 spots guarded, you know, blah blah blah. This will just help you find, you know, 1 spot or whatever. So she points us in the direction of the 3 actual spots. So we're like, oh great. This wasn't the first one, this was just to guide us to the other ones. Fantastic. So she points us to one, which is still, I think, in the woods. So we go in there, and there's, I think there is a boss fight. I'm trying to think who. I can't remember who. Sorry. We kill it, whatever. During this time, after we get back, you know, to our little base, set out a plan of attack. Steve is cooking us breakfast every morning, and apparently, from what Sean told me later, was he was going to backstab us that first day, and we would have to kill him. However, when he rolled for the breakfast, he critted. So instead of making this horrible poisonous food, he made the best breakfast ever. So Steve continued to tag along with us, looking for a time to actually stab us in the back. Us not knowing, because he just made us a delicious breakfast. Though me and Brian were still very hesitant to eat anything he cooked us, so we just kept grazing outside. We went to the first location, which was by a bunch of gypsies. And we'd learned earlier that the new head of the gypsies was Trixie from Pony. Now, while we're there, and while we're, you know, traveling there, we see a skit played out by the DM with Twilight arriving at the house, getting Rarity. We left Steve there. Steve stood aside even though we told him to stay on guard.